So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Caraline Brackman and Cristin, Mercer, McNeil, and Shaun Spanos.
Hi everybody, I'm Shaun Spanos, and I am the owner of Shaun Spanos in Wakefield, Massachusetts.
I am Cristin McNeil, and I have been in the industry for almost 40 years, spending a lot of time in education, working with different distributors and brands, and now I work and own Criswell Skin and Criswell Med Spa in Liverman, Mass.
Hi everyone, I'm Caraline Brackman. I'm an aesthetic nurse and esthetician at Interlocks Med Spa, and I have about 20 years experience in the industry in sales, education, and management.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we'll start off with the first question. I think it'll just happen organically of who wants to take the question first, and if you feel as though there's anything to add to it, please do so, and you can pass along the mic. I love that we're all friends here, so thanks. All right, so in your business, this has been a trend from every presenter, is about how to build the loyalty. So the first question is, what is the number one reason clients or patients are loyal to your business? Who wants to answer that first?
More than one of us. So let's see quickly so I can share this. Two things I feel really comfortable about what help to keep customers coming back. One is, of course, the service. So I'm not even gonna count that because we all know that, right? It's a customer service industry. But one of them is my product brand, which is my main brand is Environ, and it has a step-up program within it that becomes like an addictive drug for people where they want to reach the next level, the next level, the next level. So that's a really helpful tool for you to have in your arsenal. And yes, I did used to work for Environ. I don't work for them anymore, but I still love the brand. The other is I do consultations with everyone, and I create a very quick and easy plan for them to follow. In the very beginning, their top 3 priorities of what we're going to do in the next 30 to 60 days. By the time you're done with them within 30, 60 days, they are addicted and they're definitely going to come back to you. And making sure that of those top priorities, it includes time with your retail products, your nurse, and your esthetician, and your front desk person, and the more people that they have on staff that they love, the more likely they're gonna come back. So that's my first.
I would say for our business, number one, we treat every patient that comes through the door like we would want to be treated if we walk through a spa. We have built a system where it starts with consultation, and we really use that consultation to really build a relationship with the patient. And I think a lot of our patients, especially with more invasive procedures that they go through, they're kind of tied to us for about 5 days after that via text. We're constantly available to them. So the fact that they don't feel alone and we're using that time to build a relationship with them, they really trust us, and we have found a lot of return clientele from that philosophy.
Yeah, I just wanted to harp on something you said about having the patient touch different people in your environment. I think that really builds loyalty. Having them build a relationship with the nurse and the esthetician, and even the front desk person keeps them coming back.
Absolutely. Those are great.
Those are great, thank you so much. So here's a little bit of a deeper question. What do you wish you knew or did 10 years ago that would have advanced or maybe changed a bit of your trajectory? Or I feel, what do you wish you knew then that you know now? Ooh.
I don't know if I can answer this one first.
I would say I wish I knew everything that I knew today then, because I feel like I knew nothing.
True.
Building a business is a learning experience every day. So I feel like over the past 16 years of owning a business, we've learned tremendous amounts of things that we would have done different and that we wish we've been doing all along. So I think it's just like persevering and pushing yourself and continuing and not giving up.
I think I would have looked for a mentor sooner. There are so many things to learn at every aspect. I've been able to be a manager, I've been an owner, I've done sales, I've done training. But for every step that you want to take, there is someone who's gone through it already. There are people that are out there to help you, and you really do need help. I don't know if there's so many of us that don't ask for help. We think we have it. So asking for help really is, and guidance, that would probably be what I would do.
Yeah, I think that's so important, and also, I'm lucky enough to have organically realized this, but I think it's so important to realize that everyone around you, your vendors, your front desk, everyone you come into contact with, you probably will come into contact with again. So this industry is really small, and build those relationships because you never know who's gonna be an important part of your career later on.
That's a great one, absolutely. And the other piece is you've been on both sides, the two of you have, and as an educator for Neogen and Cell Sound, we actually get to now see from the other side of the desk, or the other side in the treatment room. And I think there's a lot of value there that you all bring to the table, and I certainly think that's where I've grown to be able to see those different layers of the industry. And when I first started in aesthetics, I never thought I'd end up here. And I feel like all of us kind of go to school with one goal. And my lesson to myself has always been never putting your eggs in one basket or closing that door, because you never know what opportunity can arise. And staying connected and networked has been an amazing blessing and certainly a huge gift. On top of that, the next question is, how do we utilize and gain information now within the industry? There's so many different ways that we now, of course, through NASNPRO, and even within NASNPRO, there's so many ways to access information. And I have to say, my friend Tori over here talks a lot about podcasts, and that is how you get real life, quickly information from the industry, because it's happening right now, and they're talking about it the next day on a podcast. So it's current. I don't think you can get more current than that. So how do you guys stay on top of things, because it's constantly evolving?
For me lately, it's been podcasts and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, how many of you are on LinkedIn already? Okay, so that's pretty good. That's better than it used to be. I'm finding a lot of companies are putting their science out there. You're learning more about classes and events. Big things are happening, and I'm finding a lot on LinkedIn. And then podcasts. And I don't know about you, but I've had to go through a lot of podcasts because some of them are really not very exciting whatsoever. But I found some really, really good ones out there that I'm really enjoying.
I definitely think that social media and technology has been helpful for our industry because of the easy access and finding information now than it has been in the past. But I do feel like, in my experience, it's conferences like this that you kind of meet other people, whether it's from your area or not. But I think going back to what Chris said is the connections and the people you meet. And you know, if you are a solo provider, it's always good to have somebody that you can bounce information off of. And it's places like this that you meet those people and make those connections.
Yeah, I agree with you. LinkedIn has been huge lately, which I didn't expect, because you think it was like a job posting, but people are posting a lot of their science and news about their companies. But to your point too, I think if we can get bogged down with social media and podcasts, and if we don't go to events like this, we miss out on like that touch, which is our whole industry's touch. And you can't really replace those in-person relationships.
Absolutely. And to be
Here in person is amazing. I'm so glad that we're able to continue this. Let's shift a bit about employees. We had a few components of that through our presenters today. So any tips for motivating employees to help build clientele? And of course, I come from the vendor side, so I'm always looking to see all of you sell more. So give us your secrets.
So I'm not in that space currently right now, but when I was a director at a multi-location spa, the best way I could motivate my employees, most of them were women, was to connect with them and form a relationship, and also become a mentor and help them realize that, especially if they were younger and coming out of school or fresh in the industry, that this isn't a job, it really is a career, and to make it your career and make it successful, you have to treat it like your own business. I know that sounds really cliche, but even if you're working for someone else, once you have that client in the room with you, that's your client. They're listening to you. They're not here for the business necessarily, they're here to see you and they want your expertise. So following up with them, building a program for them, meeting them where they are, meeting their expectations is really important, and not just seeing them, giving them a service and letting them leave. Really making sure that you're keeping a relationship going.
I second that on the mentoring. That's a very important part of what I do on a daily basis with the younger estheticians, newer estheticians. And a conversation that I often have with them is, first of all, for all of you out there, how many of you are independent estheticians working on your own? Okay, so I mean, in order for any of us to do our job, it's all based on the humans, the humans that are out there. So how are we getting them in? So I have these very open conversations that say, okay, these are all the things I'm doing as a business owner. Now I expect you to do these things. And that might be go to the local Liverman Chamber of Commerce or do events like this. I've had my staff go out. Right now, actually, 2 of them are at a bridal show in Wakefield as we speak. So they did an amazing job of setting up the table. I had them create all of the program that they're gonna offer. We've done workshops for the community, hands-on workshops, and again, working with them to think about when you come up with this idea, what is it going to cost you and what is it going to bring you in for some extra pay? And the last part is really talking about the retail, because I've had many people over my career say, I'm sorry, I can't do these hours because I have to go work at Dunkin' Donuts because you don't pay me enough. And I'm like, what? Like, how much are you gonna get from Dunkin' Donuts on the weekend? $80? So then why don't you sell X, Y, and Z in 1 week, and your hourly pay is gonna double very quickly by selling retail. So that's really, that's part of building the relationship with their clients and then growing in the industry.
I'm echoing that for a moment. I truly believe that, and there's statistics that show within retail and direct to consumer from our point of view from aesthetics is you actually build more loyalty when a product has been sold to the consumer. Because now not only are they coming back for your service, they're coming back for that product that they purchased from you to maintain those results. 50% of the client success is what they do at home. Sorry, Shaun.
That's okay. I think employees is the #1 challenge for any business, in my opinion. So kudos to you for having 18 of those people. There's a difference between having someone that shows up and just wants to collect a paycheck and having somebody come that actually wants to be there and do the job. So I think once you find those people, giving them independence and empowerment to do that in your business will play to your benefit. They'll want to be there, they'll want to benefit you and your business. And like Caraline said, it's them in the room with the patient. So the way we treat employees is we treat them like family, and we let them make those decisions, and we let them kind of practice independent, and we feel like they thrive.
I love that.
So the next question has to also do with challenges. So if you would point out the biggest challenge that you see, and maybe it is within the businesses that you're in, or what you see in the industry. What are you seeing as the biggest challenge? What are we having to have to overcome all the time or explain? I think that that's important for us to talk about what those challenges are so that we don't feel alone, but that's one of the big questions here. It actually kind of came up twice on these cards. And how do you overcome them?
So to me, I feel like playing into the employment aspect, I think that is one of the biggest challenges, just to find people now. I think With social media and the shifts in the industry, a lot of people are focusing on working independently, or in my case, in a med spa setting, I feel like in particular with nurses, it's very difficult because I think a lot of people see what comes in, they don't see what goes out, it goes into the business behind the scenes. And they think that they can just like go out on their own and make tons of money.
Yeah.
Social media also feeds into that, because I see many people on social media saying, in particular to nurses, like, hey, leave bedside and you're gonna make $100,000. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to, every esthetician knows, every hairstylist knows, everybody in our industry knows that it takes years to build a loyal clientele and to be profitable. So I think employment, again, is the biggest challenge in my opinion.
The latest thing I've come up with, and I'm beginning to feel very passionate about this, is how most of the brands now are selling direct to consumer right over our heads. And some of the reps will come to us and they will say, we love you so much, Cristin, you know, we'll do everything for you, and we only want you to sell our product, of course. And then I look on their website and they're selling direct to the consumer at a discount. And it's happened so many times to me. It's really painful. So I put this on LinkedIn. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, please go on LinkedIn and give me your 2 cents. I put a few posts recently. One is about some reps and some issues I've had, and the other is about this subject. And of course, one of the things I get is, well, estheticians don't sell a lot of products. So, all right, let's be part of the solution. Let's work on education so that we can give those brands more of our attention and help them sell the product that they're selling to us. But then beyond that, what can we do so that, you know, maybe those brands sell their products direct to consumer, but at a higher price so that they help to grow us. I mean, this is what really built the industry. And yes, our customers can go to Sephora and they can buy something off of TikTok, and we get them in the end, right? Because in the end, they didn't, I mean, they'll come to us, I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Oh, I just spent $900 at Sephora, it's all there. What's your biggest problem? Pigmentation. Where's the sunscreen? Right? So in the end, we're going to get them. So how can we be part of this and fix this? That's kind of my next stage of life, I think, is to try to help this part of our industry.
I think when I was more on the management side of things, the biggest hurdle or challenge was employees and first finding them and then retaining them. And also, obviously, taking the time and helping them to realize that it does take time. You're never gonna come out, like Shaun was saying, you don't come out of aesthetic school or hairdressing school or nursing school or anywhere successful. You just don't. You're always entry level. So I always thought of it as I went to aesthetic school before I went to college, but by the time my peers were coming out of college, I was just building my steady clientele. So it took about 4 years. So staying in a good place or finding that place where you feel like you can build a little home, even if you're not there forever, but staying there, getting the mentorship that you need and building and growing and gaining confidence and knowledge, and then seeing where your career goes. I think that's really important. I think motivating employees and retaining employees is difficult. And especially, we deal with those problems every day too. Well, my client just bought $500 worth of product, but then she went online and saw the drugstore has a 20% off coupon. So all of these things are challenges in our industry. I think the biggest, or what I found the best way to overcome it starts at the root, and that is finding the good people that actually want to, they're not just nurses who want to leave bedside, or they're not just estheticians who want to make, you know, a certain amount of money. They actually really enjoy it. They care about skin, they care about making people look better. They have a passion for it. I think if you enjoy it and you like it, you're going to be successful, but you're going to have challenges along the way.
And know that and recognize that that is going to happen. When I worked at Catherine Hines Institute, I remember students would come out and our biggest fear was that you would get discouraged, and how cool is it that, you know, we stick with it because it's so worth it. And I feel like that's also been a trend in all the presenters as well, that it does take hard work, but it is worth it. And we really do have passion for what we do. And that's what brings us to the next question, which is trends. You know, what I love about the industry is that it's constantly evolving, and we get to try new things and get our hands on new technology and new treatments. So we certainly have the experts on that right here. So who wants to start? What do you think the biggest trend for 2026 will be?
I can start with that part. I think right now where I'm seeing it on both the medical nursing side and esthetician kind of blended together, which is really nice, is that biostimulators, collagen stimulators, working with your own body's natural healthy cells and kind of stimulating and growing what you have is where it's going, coupled with medical grade skincare and taking it seriously and getting help from a professional like an esthetician or a nurse, an aesthetic nurse at a med spa. I think people are much more on board with that now and kind of heading in that direction.
I'm finding, first of all, I want all the estheticians and skin professionals out there to be thinking professionals, and I want you to dig in deep to the information that's being given to you, because there is some really cool science out there that is coming our way, and it's just fascinating. If you're paying attention, you're finding that the wound healing, the biostimulation properties of things out there are pretty darn cool. So I would keep my eye out for that, and I think that with this goes that we don't need to obliterate the skin anymore to get these results. They're pretty fascinating, and we're going to be able to continue to do very cool things as professional estheticians with both products and our treatments to make amazing changes. Yeah.
I definitely see a trend moving back towards esthetician stuff. So I think estheticians are going to be more important in the next coming year because I think the industry has shifted from people just quickly getting injections for that quick fix and overdone look. I think we're seeing more natural, more biostimulators, more biologics in general, exosomes and stuff like that. So a basic skin pen and some topical exosomes and stuff like that. I think that is what's coming and what people are looking for. Also, when it comes to devices, I think it's the energy-based devices versus the ablation and more aggressive treatments. Less downtime, more effective. And adding the biologics with those treatments for increased healing time and quicker downtime. Yeah.
So
Tidbit, when I asked Shaun to be on the panel, he was really excited because you have been talking about clinical more over the years, having the Aesthetic Guide Awards, and it's really cool that you're here to talk about skin because of that. I think that we do go back to our roots of why we became estheticians in the first place, and all of us, that was the start for all our foundation. And I just think that that's what's in our hearts. And the last question that we do have, I do feel is an important one because it is about skin. So the question is, how do you, when you're in a consultation, really break down the best treatment regime at home? I feel like that's a lot of parts and layers to discuss, but breaking down, how do you sell during that consultation? And really not selling, it's being consultative and educating the client, the patient. I always love to hear from you guys how you do that, because that's a really important part of what we do and their success.
I think, we always say home care is the best care, and what Chris said is estheticians are here to sell and educate the patient. So really it's getting that patient in and educating them that if they are visiting a spa to pay money to get a service, what are they doing at home to really put the insurance on that and really better that? So home care is extremely important, and we really focus on that in consultation, especially when people are spending large amounts of money on services, even injectables. Like patients will come in for injectables, and it's like, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars in injectables. If you're not taking care of your skin at home, the injectables really are a waste of money. So I would rather put them on a home care system before doing injectables, because they're gonna get more out of that, they're gonna trust you, they're gonna see better results, and they're gonna come back.
I 100% agree, and when I do my consults, that's the first thing that I say. When it comes to actual products and their routine, which I think is kind of part of what you're asking, right? So 100 years ago, there used to be the whole, I remember early days of Catherine Hines even, right?
Yeah.
Was if you're gonna send someone home with one thing, let it be a scrub so they feel something different. Those days are really long gone, so don't ever say that. But look at your products and look at what you're carrying and find the product. For me, it's vitamin A, 100%. There are some other cool ingredients out there, but it's like, look for something that's really going to change their skin from a cellular level and make sure that they have that. And then of course, sunscreen. Because a lot of people yes us to death, right? Like, oh, I have a sunscreen, I have a sunscreen. Sure you do, then what's that pigment I see all over your face, right? So make sure that they have some changeable products in their basket and that you're slipping them into whatever they're else currently using. And we know we have clients that are up for 10 steps. I'm definitely one of them. But there are clients that are coming to us all from soap and water, right? You're not gonna give them 10 steps because that's gonna probably not be so likely that is gonna happen. So find the key things that are gonna make the biggest difference and then do that 1, 2, 3. This is what we're gonna do. So today is not the last day I'm gonna see you. I care about you the rest of the year too. So I'm gonna get you started on this and then we're gonna talk in a couple of weeks and kind of build from there.
I totally agree with both of you, and I found in the last, especially 5 years, that when someone comes in for a consult, and I think they're coming in now, to go back to your point about aesthetics and just like facials being really popular, it's because of social media, like TikTok and Instagram. Like when we were estheticians like 15 years ago, no one knew what was happening in the room. No one knew like what an awesome facial meant. You'd like tell them, but now they can see it, so they're coming in for it. But if someone's coming in to change something about their skin, they saw something online or whatever it is, I'd rather get them on good skincare and have them skip the service entirely if their budget won't allow them to do both. Obviously, if their budget will allow them to do both, and they want to do both, great. But if not, go with the skincare. And to your point, Cristin, I think of like the core 4 or core 5. Good cleanser, SPF, and then a vitamin A. We can do a vitamin C, great, but vitamin A first. But I think I try to just meet them where they are. So, and not just on price. I think price is actually last. I think it's more about their expectation, the process, like what are they comfortable with? Are they okay with a little downtime or are they totally averse to it? And then price, obviously. But I think meeting your patients where they are, or your clients where they are, they respect that, and then they respect you, and you build credibility with them. So,
those are
Really great tips, thank you so much. So I'd love to hear any final thoughts and wise words from all three of you. I really appreciate all of your insight and knowledge that you've shared. So any last thoughts about the industry, of where it is and where it's going?
I would say, I think at this point, just to echo that again, that to be an esthetician right now is really exciting. And now I am a nurse now too, and I did that in the last 3 years. But as I was doing that, I went back to doing aesthetics in the room, and I was like blown away by how popular skincare is. Because again, like 10, 15 years ago, you were really selling yourself. You were like, you know, I remember family members being like, so what is it that you do? What's a facial? What's that? Now it's like everyone wants a facial. Everyone wants skincare treatment. So it's a great time to be an esthetician, and it's a great time to partner with nurses or nurse practitioners or medical professionals that have med spas, because you really build programs together. It's not just the nurse, it's not just the doctor. They aren't doing those kind of treatments that you're able to do. So you really have a great opportunity right now in medical aesthetics.
I agree, medical aesthetics isn't going anywhere. I dabbled in it, I've affiliated myself with doctors and nurses. I came out of it where I had the whole thing as my business, and now I'm doing clinical skincare, but I'm still sharing space with the person that bought my lasers and is doing all the injectables because the clients like it. So for estheticians, I've heard for many years, like, oh, those med spas, they make me so mad. Well, they're not going away, and your clients need them. You know, I'm 56, I need every bit of help I can get. The best skincare money can find me, the best facialist, esthetician, and then if I want to take it to the next level, I need to always have those options. So with that, I want to say be, again, I kind of said it earlier, but be a thinking esthetician. The industry is growing, it's amazing, there are so many things you can do, but you have to pay attention, have your eyes wide open, and do your education. Find whatever education you can, and always do your education so that you're on the top of things.
I would say being an esthetician is probably the best career because I've done many. I started as an esthetician, I went to business school, I went to nursing school, I'm now a nurse practitioner, but I've always gone back to skincare. And one thing that I tell nurses when they come to me and they say, what can I do to be in this field? I say, learn skin, because I did not learn that in nursing school. Just because you're a nurse does not mean you know skincare. I think you guys are the skincare experts, and they need you. They need you to educate the clients, and they need you to work with them hand in hand. I think they get a lot of their education, mostly, I'm not gonna say for everybody, but like from skincare reps, skincare companies, but the true education is esthetician.
No, I certainly agree with that, and Shaun's being quite humble because he became a nurse practitioner to help the aesthetic world out here. And so, you know, being able to provide medical directors or being able to get those technologies in your hands that maybe we can't use in our scope of practice, you have the ability to now do both. Because just to echo what Cristin said, it's not going anywhere. So how do we partner? Where they're not taking it away, how can we get our hands on it so that we can capture that business, capture that clientele, and really continue to build an industry? We're stronger together when you're partnering with the right partners, with the right leaders, with the right directors, and certainly brands as well. We talk about that all the time, and so finding those partners that are have the same beliefs, and that's important to me. It always has been. I feel like within NASNPRO, I've grown that relationship with those vendors that are out there, and I love that we have this growing community and that we're extending out to some of those more clinical treatments. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the panel, and it was such great information. And Denise, thank you for bringing this to us. And what an amazing NASNPRO event. We have some closing remarks, and I'm going to collect your badges because, yes, we have the big raffle that is on the table when you first registered this morning with something from every vendor. Yeah, thank you guys.